What's happening, troops? Welcome back to another video on the SharpDiv YouTube channel. This is going to be the first upload in 7 months. A very long time coming, and I hope everybody's safe, by the way, because we're going through some crazy times, aren't we, at the moment. I hope you can forgive me for not making a video in so long. I've just been doing other things, and then COVID struck, and then the world went to shit, didn't it? Here we are anyway, back for another video. Hopefully this can become more regular on the channel, and today I'm going to be doing my league predictions. Now, if you look at the league predictions from last year, not from myself but from a whole host of people, it had been very hard to predict Hearts going down with the budget that they had. So videos like this can have you with egg on your face by the end of it, so hopefully I don't have that come next year. Now obviously this is a momentous season. It's a season where Celtic will be going for 10 in a row. Only 3 teams, including them, have had the chance to do this, and both have crumbled, both have failed. The team from the 60s of Celtic and the 90s team of Rangers. So it's going to be a massive season. There's going to be a lot of pressure on both sides of the Old Firm. Rangers to stop it, Celtic to do it, and it's just going to be absolute class. I just wish that fans could be there at the matches. The sooner that happens, the better. But anyway, let's get into it. The team that I've got at the foot of the table, the bottom of the league, a lot of people are actually tipping them to go down, and it's Ross County. It's been very widely spoke about that Ross County have had a dual Can I say it? Management? I'm a bit rusty. So it's such a weird dynamic. However, they went back to the more traditional route of having one guy at the helm. But for me, from the times that I've seen Ross County play versus Rangers, I've not been very impressed by them. Rangers have done a job on them on a number of occasions, home and away, and I just feel like their squad won't be good enough to compete in the league consistently in order to stay in the division. Again, I think there's a few teams that will be there or thereabouts. However, Ross County, sorry guys, I'm putting you right at the bottom. In 11th place, it might come as a bit of a surprise, but I'm going for St Johnstone. They've lost Tommy Wright. He's been the manager for the best part of a decade. He's been very limited to the amount of money that he can spend, the players that he can bring in. And I don't know if this stat has changed, but a few months ago when I was on the SPFL show, we spoke about the fact that he never ever spent a penny on a transfer for a player in his time as a manager. And with that lack of ambition or lack of investment, I think his time had came. He took the club as far as he could, and they've now got a new manager in Davidson, who, you know what, has got a pretty good track record. He's not got a lot of managing experience, however, he has been the assistant coach at a number of teams, been first team coach at some good outfits, so you just never know. But I just think that Tommy Wright kept that club up for so long. He squeezed every last little bit out of those players for so long, and playing a very Greek style of football. Davidson might come in, he might try and change that. Will they be able to play football at McDiarmid Park? I doubt it. It's not a very good pitch. So for that reason, I've got them in at 11th in the playoff position. The team that I've got in 10th, every single season, everyone says we want them out the league, other than their fans, or we want them to finish bottom, or we think that they'll finish bottom, and it is Hamilton. A few places up from the bottom of the league, because I just think when you look at their squad, towards the tail end of last season, they were doing alright. They had Ocampo up front, Lewis Smith in the middle, who's a baller. Their youth academy just produces centre mid after centre mid after centre mid. So for that reason, I'm having them in there at 10th. I think that Brian Rice as a manager will be good enough to get results versus those bottom 2 teams, and I think that he will keep them in the division. In 9th position, and I would describe this team as a bit of a floater between relegation and top 6. And that's Dundee United. Newly promoted obviously, but they lost their manager Nielsen. It's a bit mental. He's went down to Hearts, down a division. They have appointed a new manager. Now, will he be able to do the business in the top league in Scotland? That's yet to be seen. And also, will their striker Lawrence Shanklin be able to do the business in the top division? The reason I've actually got them in 9th is because I think he will be the difference. I think he will score goals in this division. Maybe not as much as he did in the Championship, but I think he will pop up in big moments if they can hold on to him. However, at the moment, he is a Dundee United player, and I think he could get them that 9th spot in the league. They've got some other good players. Nicky Clark, ex-Rangers player. I really liked him at Rangers. He worked hard for the team. He wasn't good enough to be that number 9, constantly scoring goals, but his link-up play and his ability on the ball wasn't too bad, and I actually want him to do well. Coming in at number 8, we have got St Mirren. Now, their chairman came out and says they should push for top 6. When St Mirren played against Rangers and Celtic, they sat in, they played very negatively. Sometimes it was hard to break them down, sometimes they got an absolute spanking. But see, when they played against other teams, they were opening up, they had players in their team that were decent. The one, the only Obika up front, that guy just gets in positions, doesn't he? The ball hits him on the esophagus, the patella, the scapula, it's in the back of the net, you know it. In at number 7, and just missing out in the top 6, I am going to go with Kilmarnock. Now, Kilmarnock have got a decent squad, but it's whether they turn up and they perform consistently. Brophy is obviously a baller, but he only shows it in glimpses. Towards the tail end of the season, he started to get himself on the score sheet, but before then, it just felt like it was Chris Buck carrying this full team on his back for absolute months on end, scoring goals, getting assists, and he can't do it forever. The Benjamin Button story can only go on for a wee while, and potentially that can come to an end this season, so there's got to be other players that need to step up. Brophy might be one of them. Will his goals be enough to get him into top 6? I don't think so, so I'm going to put them in at number 7. And not to mention, Kilmarnock have lost Stephen O'Donnell, who was a massive player for them. Scotland's first choice right back, controversially. But see, when he played for Kilmarnock, he was good enough. See, when he played in Scottish football, he was good enough at that level. Maybe not internationally, but at that level he was really good. And for one reason or another, I don't think it's due to his performances or his ability, potentially down to finances or something like that, he has been let go from the club. But moving into the top 6, and I am going with Livingston. The team with probably the smallest budget in the league continue to churn out results at home, mostly on their AstroTurf pitch, putting in performances versus teams like Celtic last year. Big Dykes was playing really well, who's been linked with Rangers as well. They've got midfielders like Pittman. They've lost Lawless, which could be a big loss. He's away to Burton. But just kind of all over the field, they done really well last year, especially in the midfield. So if they can continue that and they can continue to get results at the Tony Macaroni Stadium, then I think they will be just good enough to finish in that top 6. Not to mention, Gary Holt, top manager, doing really well in a limited budget. Potentially if a bigger job comes up, he might take that going down the line, but at the moment, he's at Livingston, which is good news for those fans. Into 5th position, and I'm going to go with Aberdeen. Derek McInnes's men continue to get weaker each season. They have put into their squad Johnny Hayes, who could be a massive player. They got him in a free transfer from Celtic. He could be a massive player from them this year, but you just never know. And I think that they are getting weaker as the years progress, and the teams around about them, like Motherwell, like Hibs yet to come, are just getting stronger. So I'm going to put them in at 5th, and I do think if they are in that position, will their fans be able to handle that? Will they accept McInnes as being their manager going forward? I don't know, because they've got high expectations. And number 4, it is Motherwell. Yeah, I'm going with them. I don't think that they'll be able to get that 3rd spot, however it will be really close, because David Turnbull's back and he is again an absolute player. If he can hit the heights that he did in his first breakthrough season, then they might be able to get into that 3rd spot. However, I just think they're missing some parts of that squad, like the striker and the goals department. They don't really have a recognised player that's going to bag them a lot of goals. If you go back to their midfield, very strong. Their defence, really strong. I think Gallagher is really good. I'm a massive fan of his. But then, when you go back to the goalkeeper, they actually lost their number 1. And probably one of the biggest and best pieces of transfer news during this weird window has been the manager staying there. Because he is a really good manager as well. He's proven that last season. He's a young manager. He's probably going to go into a bigger club at some point in his career. Whether that's in the next 18 months, 2 years, I don't know. But certainly has proven that he is a top manager. So I'm putting them in at 4th. And do you know what? The manager position is probably the reason that I've put this club at 3rd. Because I'm a massive fan of Jack Ross. I think that he's a top manager. Done really well with St Mirren. At Sunderland, he was kind of fighting a losing battle. If you've watched the documentary series, then you'll know that. The club just wasn't there really. But the way he went into that club, seeing it first hand behind the scenes, he demands a lot from his players. He is a winner, and he's made some really good signings during the summer. I would go as far as to say Hibs have probably had the best transfer news so far. They get Nisbet from Dunfermline, who was banging in goals left, right, centre last season. Dunfermline fans are ranting and raving about him and how far he can go in the game. And they also acquired Gogic from Hamilton. And if you have watched your team play against Hamilton this season, you know this guy is a warrior and potentially a player that Jack Ross was missing last year. He obviously had Slivka. Bartley left a couple seasons ago. They've not really got that defensive midfielder who could break things up at will. They've got a lot of free attacking players like Scott Allen, Marin and players like that, but that balance wasn't really there. He could be the player to add to that. Now probably the moment that most of you clicked on the video to see who will I be putting in second and who will I be putting in first. It probably won't come to as a shock too much that I've got Celtic in second and Rangers in first. If you can't back your team, then what's the point? Honestly, I do think Celtic will go into the season as favourites. They've won the league 9 years in a fucking row. You know what I mean? The players have got experience, have got quality within the squad. Edward is a really good player, bangs in goals as well, left, right and centre. Could be the top goal scorer this year if Morelos moves on. However, I do think it's going to be really close. Rangers have also added quality to their side in Yanis Hadji, who, if you've seen him play live or you've seen him a number of times, you know that he's just got that killer pass in him. He can change games against big teams and small teams. He can handle the pressure of playing at Ibrox. He's never played an Old Firm yet, and I'm really excited to see him in that environment. However, I think he will be a massive player for Rangers, and in a very tight season, I am tipping Rangers to win the league. And again, if you can't back your own team, then what's the chances? What's the point, really? But anyway, that is going to end this video here. I hope you have enjoyed it. First video in a long time. Hopefully more to come. If you're new around here, please subscribe. If you're a subscriber from before, please stay subscribed, because I've not really gave you much content to fricking stay. However, I'm back making videos and hopefully you are enjoying them. Please hit the like button, get involved in the comment section below, giving me your predictions. I've been SharpDiv, you've been yourself, and I'm out.